We're here at the ARBA Convention with Don Mersiovsky. I said that correctly, right?
Yes, Mersiovsky. Yes.
Mersiovsky, yes. He's a well-known breeder of commercial rabbits, both New Zealand's and Californians. Earlier this year at the Spring New Zealand National, you won Best of Breed New Zealand
with a black.
With a black, yep.
Yep.
And I mean, you've done that well with Californians as well.
Yes, I have. I've won Best Outfit at convention, numerous first places in classes. So yes, and a number of best in shows in my home state of Texas.
Yeah. No, I know that you're a breeder that does extremely well. What do you have to do to get a rabbit in top-notch show condition for being here at convention?
One of the things I do is try to make sure that several weeks to months before coming here, that they either have gone to a show so that I can see how they're going to travel. That's one of the big things we do, is we try to see if the rabbits travel well, because the worst thing that can happen is you come all this way to convention, the rabbit decides to go off feed and whatnot. So, and we try to breed that instinct into ours. So, what we tend to do is when we get here, we try to keep the routine the same for the rabbits. Everything's about keeping that routine the same. We don't change our routine. If we feed once a day, we feed at that same time while we're at convention. We don't try to add anything to it. It's really that simple, and we make sure that they have, we bring some water just in case there's the water they don't care for. One of the things we do, if it's a short trip, like a one-day trip, we send them with no food. We don't feed them on the way here. So that way when they get here, they will go straight to feed and water. And they tend to do well that way. So
that consistency is really important, as well as having them be excited or enticed. You keeping them on feed keeps them in condition.
Well, that's true. I mean, we keep them on the same feed all the way through. We don't try to change anything up on them. When they get here, we feed them just like we would at home. They get we don't change their routine at all. So whatever routine that we have at the house for them, that's the routine they get at the show. And because I've seen people where they'll just pour the feed to them at the show, and then the rabbits get sick because they're not used to it. Because I'm one of those breeders that when I put feed in the cup, I want the rabbits sticking their head in it. So, and then that way I know they're eating. I can see them eat. I don't want them sitting at the back of the cage and whatnot. So that's how we do it.
And then just to follow up to that is so when you're bringing them to convention or any big shows, you want them to be in top-notch show condition, which is like finished prime and such.
Oh yeah, you want them in shape before you get here for sure. Because if they're not in shape when you leave the house, they're not going to get any better when you get to the show. So, and that holds true across all breeds, I would say. The only thing that might be a little different is if you have to get here so much in advance. If you're from a high humidity area where you working the fur and all that, because right now here it is dry, so the fur looks a little bit better than it would if it was in a humid environment. You got to take your environment into consideration too.
I agree. Good deal. Those are all the questions I had. I appreciate your time on it.
Sure.